Hey, welcome back to The Long Run. And I'm Chris Brown, and I am glad to be here. Happy you're here too. Talking about, as a follow up almost to the last piece that we posted about the IFA. Now we're back, and now what do? We're back home, and it's time to take that which we learned at IFA back and do something with it. And that's not just the CFE courses, that's not just the knowledge that we picked up there. It's actually relationships that we cultivated and business that we potentially have together and following up with those people. I like to send a message out and thank everybody for the just the meet and greet, for whatever we did. There were people there that invited us to events that we participated in. It was their event. They hosted it. So I make a point to go out of my way to say, hey, thanks. I grew up in the South, a little bit on the manners side, and we used to send thank you notes for everything. And now we have the benefit and the convenience of email and text messaging and all kinds of things. But it kind of made me chuckle the other day when I was thinking about, God, we have it so much easier today than we did when I was growing up. But being in the room, being at IFA was phenomenal. It is our industry's event. And as I mentioned in the last piece, it really, a lot of that moved in on me. It was a great place to see friends and see my peers and be in the space, be in the room where everyone was and where things were being discussed and problems were being solved, and there were solutions, whether it be CRMs or pieces of technology that help us do what we do much better. And so I've taken all that stuff back with me. Some of it is applied, some of it it was just good to see it and know it and have it in the kit in case we need it at some point. Again, I was talked about being able to hang out with the CEO of the brand that I represent, and it was really cool to just have that time together too. I like hanging out with Nick. He's a fun person to be around, and we have a passion for food. And so there's not a steak that's safe in proximity to where we are if we go to an event, and I love that about him. I don't know if I've mentioned this yet, but I worked with Wolfgang Puck when I was coming up through the ranks in my career and my path. So I got to experience some really great food and in my journey, and kitchens and tasting pieces that would, before they even made it to the menu and things like that. So I have a passion for food. I love it. And so Nick shares that too. So I got to do that. The thing that I wanted to talk about, is the momentum that comes from an event like that, and carrying that momentum, bringing that back home, doing something with that, and not knowing what to do with that. This is my first conference and my first show, and I've gone to it. You may not know that. Okay, be intentional when you go to those things. I tend to go into an event looking for some things. It's not manipulative. It's not, or maybe it is. I don't know. But my purpose in going to those events is to participate, to be a part of, and to fully support those of my peers who are up there on the stage. I got to do that with Bobby Kelly. It was really wonderful to see him, deliver his piece. We got to do the women in franchising and that, kind of a roundtable problem-solving discussion with, all of my peers, the people that are really close to me in this industry. And so now I brought that back here, to good old Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And what do I do with that? And other than the thank you notes and the things that I was mentioning, it's the determining what is, what I need to push and what I need to, be patient with. That's not only with, my process, the businesses that we support, what stage of growth are they? They can't be any farther along than they are, and that's important to know and acknowledge and support the brand where they are. As far as being intentional. I go into the event and try to take something away. I go into every experience and conversation and I try to take something away and bring something to it, though. That's the other part. That's where I was trying to go with flip that side. And then, as we get into our processes and we're supporting others and we're supporting brands, it's important that we, I like this saying, steady as she goes. Just be consistent. Everything's not, up here. Everything's not down here. It's okay to kind of be here. As my friend Amir from Los Angeles says, it's okay to just be in the gray. Everything's not spiking. Everything's not dipping. Just be in the gray and be okay with that. And from that almost like peaceful sort of steady as she goes space, really good things happen. Really wonderful things get brought to light. How can we do this better? Maybe also, how have we been doing it? And if we've been doing it a certain way, is that still working? Do we need to make adjustments? Do we need to reinforce things that we're doing already? So, as we kind of wrap this piece up here, and I know I've talked a lot about the IFA. I came back and I was sharing something about about a little brief piece I did earlier, and I was wiped out earlier, in the day, and I wasn't really on my game. I wasn't as animated. I've had some electrolytes since then. I've had some food. I've had a little bit of rest. I haven't pushed. That's another thing I've learned on my journey here in this earth is, where we just try to operate where I am. And so I did an 11-mile run yesterday. It can take the wind out of anybody's sails. And so rather than push it, rather than force it, rather than trying to make stuff happen, I kind of accepted where I was and am. And now, the day is has happened, and it's been a really wonderful, productive day. I've had great conversations with people at different stages of the process with this brand, with Clothespin that I represent, and have moved the needle, and that's what happens when you're steady as she goes, being consistent and following through. That's when great things really just happen the way they're supposed to happen. So steady as she goes, keep going forward, and and we'll catch back up with you again at the next one of these things. So take it easy.